Mikaya se takoshia kwa ia kanihi. Ashaya kota kashiataka. Isakwa e takoshia. Mikaya so. Teha. Hello, beautiful souls. We are going to do something a little different today. I've been reading a fascinating book. I will put the link to it below. It just resonated with every part of my being. It's called Avalon, and it's published by a quantum hypnotherapist. And in the book, it talks about trees and the wisdom that trees hold, and how, along with us humans having lost our connection to the higher aspect of who we are, being put to sleep in a way, the same thing has happened to trees. So if you've followed my book, Conversations with a Tree, we know that Henrietta has not lost that connection. And the same with George, the other tree in the book. They're still very much connected to the divine wisdom that's available to us all. But what it said in this book, and this book is Quantum Hypnosis, takes people to connect with their higher selves that knows everything. And part of that was that trees as well have gone asleep on this earth, and it's about them waking up the same as we are waking up. And it also talked about codes, whether it's symbolic, and of course the light language brings through codes as well. And you may have heard me mention before that I had a friend one time and we went to Salt Spring Island and we were on a beach, and I felt called to bring through light language. And he also spoke with light language, and so he joined me. And after we finished, he was deeply moved because the land had told him and gave him the feeling in his heart of how grateful the forest around this cove was, and the land and the earth for receiving this ancient language once again, because it remembers. And of course, you know, I have this powerful connection with nature and the trees, and I'm able to communicate with nature. And so I know I've lived in those times when we were one and we were living in harmony. And so today, this light language activation for the collective is going to be for the collective of the forest. And as we know, we are much a part of earth and nature as the forest is. We are all in this together. So the trees are also a part of our collective. And the trees do support us and they love us, but the more of the trees who are really waking up again to, again, you could say their own highest potential, the more they will be able to emanate out to all of us. And I'm just getting the feeling as I'm sharing this now, the more they will be able to put out a frequency that will want more of the human species to feel called to protect them and care for them in a new way. Forestry is the biggest example of what I'm thinking about here, or, you know, cutting down rainforest to plant palm trees for industry. I see all of that shifting and changing because light language brings through a very high frequency. So the more we do this, the more that emanates out into the entire world, and we are all impacted by it. So I invite you today, as you join me in this light language collective tune-up for the trees, to keep in mind any trees that are in your neighborhood, in your yard, that are important to you, and also with the intention of it emanating through the whole planet, so that all trees everywhere are impacted and supported by the awakening intention of this light language collective tune-up. So let's start. Hishinatki akaya so tki anashiatki. Ishikatake e suko shiatki ashino tki asha. I'm getting the sense we're restoring the connection of the trees between the earth and the sky. There has been a new opening recently on the planet. Between the earth and the sky, we are more able to receive the frequencies, the beautiful activating frequencies of the sun, and also connect more with the core of the earth. And so we're intentionally creating that connection for the trees here. Hushikaya no shikatikia kaya sa tishana. Shatakaya kosiatakia kaya no shiataka. Hushikaya no sikia. Hisikia kasiatakia sha. Ashinaya koti shikatakia sha. Ishakwa e takoshiaya kasiya. And I'm just now called to call out, I'm calling out the mother trees of the forest everywhere, because the mother trees are like the home activation of the forest. It's where all the codes that run underneath the mycelium and the roots in the forest are emanated out. And so if we activate intentionally the mother tree, although all trees would receive this activation, they can then emanate it out more fully into the forest. Huchakawit kaya shotki. Hushakanea kosiatkia shai. Hushana, hushana, hushana. Maktikia kaya so tkia shanaha. Maksed koshiakikia taya shoki. This is so interesting. I find now as I'm connecting with the mother trees, like I just spread my feet and I'm more firmly grounded into the floor beneath my feet, more firmly grounding into the earth as we're doing this. It's interesting. My body wanted to become a part of what we're doing here. Huchikaya no shikia tas shiatkia nayako. Hashania katakia shatakia kasania katakia satakash kanhatika asiki. Ushakwa anikia sataka ashkanahatika asiki. Ushanikia kaya tosi atakia kashania kaya so tishanatakia kai. And now they're showing me the canopy, which is where the trees receive most of their light in dense forests. And the canopy is receiving this activation, and it's opening up the canopy to receiving sun codes and then anchoring them down into the earth. And feeling this anchoring down into my solar plexus and sacral chakra, actually kind of like the name Dantian, just below our belly button, like this center of anchoring of energy in our bodies. It's anchoring in there. Huchikaya no shiatkia ka, hishana tkia ka, hishatkea kosi atkia shai kosi anaha. Maksakea toshiakwa ikanai. This is very beautiful what they're showing me now. This book also said that the trees sing a song, and if you listen to my book Conversations with a Tree that is now up on YouTube, I forget which chapter it was, but I talked about when I started sharing my connection with the trees with friends. We would go out and we would all kind of tune into the same tree, and I started getting tones from the tree, and there was one other person in the group who could receive the tones, and when I would do my best to duplicate the tone that I had heard, she would affirm that she heard the same tone. So I know in my experience that this is true as well. And so what they're showing me is that people will start to pick up on what we could call the song of the tree, or the tone, the frequency that the trees emanate through sound. So our experience of the trees will broaden, because the trees are going to start remembering that this is who they are in essence, and they will start allowing their tone to come back to life and start singing their tone more fully. And we know from other experiments that they've hooked up instruments to plants that can interpret the plant frequency into sound, and the sounds will change with different people who come close to the proximity of the plants. It's very interesting. So we know that those machines are interpreting what those plant tones would be. Huchikaya no shiatkia shatika ashkana hatik eskia hasikaya kosia makshikaya kosia tkia kaya no sika. Ushakwa e tukoshiakwa e kanai. Usakaya to shiakia natakia shatak ashkanahatik eski. They're anchoring me in once again, rooting me down. I'd be really interested to hear if as you listen to this, you find that it's grounding you in. Like, it's like I feel heavier and denser in my body as I'm being grounded into the earth more solidly. I'd be interested to hear if others of you are having that experience. Huchikaya no takia shatiki I kasaya kotiyashiki. So I'm just going to be silent for a moment and let these codes anchor in, settle into the trees and settle into our being as we receive them. Uchakwa iya katikia shatika ashkanahatik esiki. Ushakwa e tukoshiatkia kaya sokina. Magsaya koti sha tikia kaya so tike. This feels like a gift now for all of us who are holding the space and the intent for this to happen. A gift for us to also awaken within us the remembering of the codes that we carry, the tune that we carry, the brilliance that we are. So they're just anchoring in these codes of awakening the highest aspect of who we are as a gift for being present with this collective tune-up, with this light language. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being present. I invite you to check out my new group tune-up, which is an online event that I'm offering 2 different times a week. And you can sign up for them one at a time. It's a 1-hour-long Zoom call that is offering light language activations for people who come to the call. It's 1 hour long, as I said, and it's limited to 8 people so that everyone has an opportunity to receive, and then we all receive the benefit of working together. It's kind of like today working with the forest and then realizing at the end that we're all being activated into that same frequency. It's the same when we work in a group. It's amplified by the square of the group. So please do check that out. I'll put the link below. And thank you again for being present with this collective tune-up. I'll see you soon.